The containment level is 2,000 degrees and climbing. I'm standing at the center of it, both palms pressed flat against the queen's outer membrane, and the thing inside my chest is trying to tear free. Around me, the walls pulse with something that isn't quite light. The air itself is burning. I know this because I can see it, the shimmer of superheated oxygen bending everything into waves, though I can't feel it anymore. I lost temperature sensation 8 months ago and never got it back. Behind me, 500 apex zombies, alpha zombies, are doing what they've been doing for 6 minutes, trying to get through the door I welded shut with my bare hands. Maya, Sarah's voice in my earpiece, steady, always steady. The queen is cycling. When it completes the cycle, it will broadcast the stage 5 signal, and we lose. I know. 72 hours was the estimate. We have maybe 8 minutes. 2 million survivors in the coastal shelters if stage 5 activates. Sarah! My voice comes out flat. That's new. 6 months ago, I would have felt the fear underneath the word. Now, there's just the word. I know what happens. Tell me something useful. A pause. Then Finn's voice. Maya, tell me if this isn't working. It's not working. I can reach it, but I can't connect. I keep pushing and it keeps... Stop pushing, Finn says. I stop. My dad used to say you never fight water. You give it a path. Stop pushing. Open. If I open completely, I might not come back. A beat. Behind him, I can hear it. The wet crack of combat. Someone screaming. The particular sizzle of an alpha zombie burning. He's still fighting out there. He hasn't stopped fighting since I went in. I've got you. Whatever comes back, I've got you. I think about whether I believe him. I decide I do. I open. This is the girl who burned the dead. And this is what happened 72 hours before the world ended. 5 years earlier. The thermometer outside Wong's pawn shop reads 147 degrees Fahrenheit when it bursts. I've been hiding in a warehouse's shadow for 2 hours because it's 4 degrees cooler than open air, and open air is currently trying to kill everyone in the city, possibly everyone in the world. I'm 8 years old and very hungry. By any reasonable biological calculation, I should have been dead 2 weeks ago. 147 degrees Fahrenheit is organ failure territory, the kind of heat that cooks people in their cars while they're still alive and aware enough to understand what's happening to them. 3 survivors I'd watched die last month were healthier than me when they went. I'm still here. My hands stay warm in a way that has nothing to do with the air temperature. The warmth regulates itself, holding my body at a survivable temperature, the way a thermostat holds a room. I don't understand this until week 6, when I watch a man die of heat stroke 50 feet away and realize I'm not even sweating. He clawed at his own throat at the end, trying to get air that was too hot to breathe. I watched and felt terrible about watching and could not look away and could not help and was not dying. I file it under figure out later and keep my back against the wall. 3 zombies round the corner, the slow kind, gray skin stretched over faces that have forgotten expression, milky eyes that catch no light, mouths working at nothing, jaw bummers cycling through the motion of chewing on air. The third one stops and turns toward me. I feel the fear hit my blood as a match dropped in gasoline. My hands erupt. Not a small fire, not candle flame or campfire. A column of white-orange fire that comes from my palms and hits all 3 simultaneously. The sound is wrong, too loud and too wet. The crack of superheated tissue expanding faster than skin can contain, fat rendering in an instant, the smell hitting me before I understand what the smell is. Char and something chemical underneath it, something that used to be a person. Then it's over, and I'm standing in a circle of ash with my hands still blazing amber white, and the sound I'm making is something between a scream and silence. I clamp my hands together. The fire dies. I stand in the ash for a long time. Then I find the cold place inside myself, built across 3 years of foster homes and 2 of streets, and I file it. I'm still standing there when a boy's voice says, "Let her go." Maybe 10 years old. Devon's crew has found me while I stared at the ash, Devon's hand around my arm, his face telegraphing a problem. The boy shoves Devon sideways. Devon weighs 40 pounds more and still goes sideways. Something about the way the boy stands says he has decided something and is finished deciding. Devon looks at me, then at the ash, then at my hands. He leaves. "That wrist broken?" The boy crouches in front of me. "No. What's your name?" "Thin. An underground place nearby. Cooler. Safe. Water and food." I look at him the way I look at everything. Fast. Hunting for the lie. His face holds the same fear I feel, the same grief I've learned to file, and nothing that looks like an agenda. "Maya," I say, and take his offered hand, and let him lead me underground. The maintenance tunnel smells like rust and old water, and is 108 degrees Fahrenheit, 39 degrees cooler than the street. Finn has blankets on the floor, canned food stacked with labels spacing out, a hand-crank radio and a flashlight held together with a rubber band. Evidence of a future that somebody believed in enough to prepare for. "Where's your family?" he asks. "Doesn't exist. Mom left me at a fire station. Foster homes sent me back. I left." My parents turned in week 2. He says it flatly, the way you learn to say things that are too large for normal volume. "They came home different. I burned them. Our house. I didn't want them to hurt anyone else." "I think that was right," I say. "How do you know?" "Because you did it. So it happened. That's all mercy is." "Friends?" "Yeah, friends." I turn 9 in the tunnel. Finn finds a can of peaches and sings happy birthday in a thin, off-key voice all the way through, twice. The peaches taste like a world that no longer exists. I share half without being asked, and he accepts without fuss. That is what friends are, people you don't have to perform normalcy for. The radio tells us what we already know. A weaponized cordyceps variant escaped from a military lab in Siberia. No cure, no functioning governments. The zombies are slow, drawn to sound and movement, lethal in numbers. The heat kills billions in the first months. Finn navigates. I manage threats. At night, my hands glow faintly amber, and I practice in secret, learning the range between a candle and a column, trying to understand what I am. I think about telling Finn. I run the calculation many times. Not yet. The heat lasts 1 year. 7 billion becomes approximately 1 billion. The zombies accumulate. My hands burn brighter every month. Month 8. 43 zombies in a pharmacy. We find this out by opening the door. I hold up my hand, letting it go from amber to orange to white. His face, first fear, then wonder, then the question that matters more than any other. What does it feel like? Like it belongs there, like it was always there and I just noticed. Okay, clear the store. The fire moves through the space and I feel it work. The resistance of 43 zombies, each one a small knot of signal that unravels in the heat, and then the gap comes, a few seconds I can't account for. I press my fingers to my temple and check. Name, Finn. The tunnel, the peaches, all present. The gap is small. I file it. I pay attention to it. I practice every night for the next month. The heat ends on a Thursday at 3:47 a.m. Something changes in my blood before it changes in the air. I'm already sitting up when Finn comes to get me. Wrong snow hisses on still hot pavement, 60 degrees in 2 hours. People who survived the heat in their apartments have frozen in their sleep. The zombies generate heat, I say when Finn asks how. 8 billion of them generate enormous thermal energy. When enough died, the balance shifted. The cold is doing the same thing in reverse now. We find the old woman in a grocery store, Sarah, coat buttoned to the neck, eyes that are doing something more than seeing. I've been watching your building for 4 weeks. 43 zombies, completely contained incineration, no collateral damage. She looks up. My name is Sarah. I'm a keeper. I've been looking for you specifically. 6 generations of Sarah's family have preserved knowledge of what happens when the parasite spreads and what can stop it. The cordyceps variant has emerged before. The 1918 outbreak was a failed earlier version. What's new is the scale. The person who can stop it has fire in her hands, always. 18 documented cases, 7 successful interventions, 11 failures. The cost is what kills most of them, not the zombies, the power itself. The power works by absorption, channeling the infection's own thermal energy back at it. When you absorb a major source, it rewrites something in your neurology. The fire takes what it needs to grow. What it takes cannot be returned. Sarah lays out what each stage costs me. Stage 1 absorption, the emotional memory of everything before age 5. The longing, the wound, the grief, gone. The facts remain, the felt sense vanishes. Stage 2, thermal sensation, both directions. I won't be able to tell when I'm freezing or burning. Stage 3, 2 years of continuous memory, a block I won't know is missing until I reach for it. Stage 4, emotional processing, gradually. Grief is becoming distant, fear theoretical, love abstract. The champions who lost too much before reaching the queen didn't come back, Sarah says. Finn is very still. That's not going to happen. We figure out what you need to hold on to. We build a system. I look at him. The cold place inside me has something growing in it lately that doesn't feel clean. Fin-shaped. I leave it where it is. The stage 2 zombies come with the deep cold, and they are fast in a way that changes everything I thought I understood about fast. The first time I see one at full sprint, I actually stepped backward. That's the tell, the specific retreat of someone who has run threat calculations and found them insufficient. It covers ground like a thrown stone covers ground, committed, no deceleration, no hesitation. Frost blooms from its mouth in short white bursts. Ice crystals have formed along its jaw, collarbones, the backs of its hands. It is wearing the cold like armor.
Hey, you're still here. If this story is resonating with you and you haven't subscribed yet, taking a second to do so really helps me keep creating stories like this. All right, let's get back to it. It sees the survivor before she can run. The distance between them evaporates. The tunnel community has grown to 212 people. A man named Carver leads the opposition to my fire. Reasonable fear dressed as righteous principle. Her fire generates more heat than anything in this network. She's making us a target. 212 humans generate considerably more than I do at rest, I say. We're already the target. What else? We don't know what you are. I know what I am. I'm the reason 47 people in this tunnel are alive. The stage 2 pack circling the north entrance is going to find the ventilation gap in 3 hours. I'd rather prepare than argue. I'm right about the 3 hours. At the 2-hour mark, I'm flat on the floor with my eye to the gap seal, watching shadow movement in the corridor beyond. 4, maybe 5 of them working the perimeter in a pattern that is not random. They're mapping us. I press my palm flat against the seal and heat it from the inside, slow and even, watching the metal glow orange in stages. The zombies pause. I feel them pause. The slight change in vibration, footsteps stopping. Then they move on. One entry I read 3 times. Champion 7, 1918. Successful intervention. Recommends identifying what matters most before degradation begins, not after. What you choose to hold is what survives. I think about the cold place inside me, the fin-shaped warmth, the stage 2 source absorption, minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit, cryo chamber, 4 hours of pouring heat into a void. The cold fights as absence rather than resistance. When I walk out, Finn has a temperature probe ready. I watch the readout instead of feeling my own skin. 97.2, he says. We won't let you freeze without knowing. I can identify fear as the appropriate response. I can't quite feel it. What can you still access clearly? Sarah asks. The fin-shaped warmth. Still there, clearer than most things. Enough, I say. Stage 3 arrives without warning. The snow dissolves into something contaminated and rising. The Stage 3 zombies are new. Bloaters that explode on death, spraying infection in a 20-foot radius. Swimmers that leave no warning, just ripples and then nothing. We climb to Sarah's roof and watch the city become a sea. A flat-bottomed aluminum boat appears on the second day. 2 men with a rifle using the bloaters as secondary weapons. When a survivor on the roof across the street moves too slowly, the rifle cracks, the sound of something large entering the water. I think, math. Children on the Marsh building 3 blocks away. I walk to the edge, raise my hands, and build a horseshoe fire around both boats at water level. Steam rises thick enough to hide their expressions. 15 seconds. They don't move. I let it die. I look at them. They leave. My legs stop cooperating. Finn is there in 2 steps, hand on my back. I've got you anyway. The fire costs me something larger this time. A chunk. Not a gap. A chunk. Month 7 in the tunnel goes dim. I reach for it and find frosted glass. The texture of those days, the specific weight of ordinary time, is gone. Not the moments that mattered. The background, the accumulated ordinary time of living, which turns out to be most of what living is. I reach for Finn's name, Sarah's name, the peaches, the birthday song, all present. I'm still holding the foreground. I hold on to the foreground. What can you still feel clearly? Finn asks later. This, right now. You're asking. Good. Hold on to this. The Rising of Cassius. I see him for the first time in Stage 4, Week 2, and I almost don't understand what I'm seeing. He's standing in the middle of the street below our north window, alone, hands in his pockets, looking up at the building the way a person looks at a building they're considering buying. He's wearing a gray coat that was expensive once. His eyes, when they find mine through the glass, are dark and specific and completely, unmistakably human in quality. He smiles. It's a good smile. That's the horror of it. Warm, almost rueful, the smile of someone who has been waiting a long time and finds the wait almost funny in retrospect. Then he turns and walks away. Alpha zombies, Sarah says from behind me. Apex, I say. The coat, the smile. He chose those. Yes. I watch him go. He doesn't look back. He comes back 3 days later during a supply run Finn is leading, appears at the end of an alley with the same hands-in-pockets posture, the same specific, unhurried quality, as if he has all the time in the world because he correctly calculated that he does. You're Maya's people, he says to Finn. Not a question. Finn stops the group. 12 people, armed, spread across the alley mouth. The alpha zombie, Cassius, I'll learn because he tells us, looks at them the way a teacher looks at students he finds promising but not yet ready. Tell her I'd like to speak with her, he says. Tell her I know what she's losing, and tell her I know how to stop it. He leaves before anyone can decide what to do. Don't, I tell Finn when he comes back, and I see the look on his face. Whatever he said. He said he knows how to stop the degradation. He's lying. Probably, Finn looks at me steadily. But you should know he said it. Cassius appears 5 more times over the following weeks. Always alone, always unhurried. He never attacks, never threatens. He watches us move through his territory like someone watching a performance they've already seen but find worth revisiting. The 3rd time, he speaks to me directly. I'm on a rooftop, establishing a new sight line for the community's early warning system. He's in the building across the street. Same coat, same hands and pockets. "You're ahead of schedule," he calls across the gap. His voice is good, resonant, controlled. "Most of them lose the thread by now. You're holding on." "I'm not interested in your assessment." "You should be. I'm the only one who's watched all of this from both sides." He tilts his head. "I was a psychiatrist before. I understand the architecture of loss better than anyone alive. And I'm telling you, the way you're managing it is going to fail." "And what do you want in exchange for better advice?" "Nothing you wouldn't want to give me." He smiles again, that warm, rueful, horrible smile. "Think about it." He drops off the roof and is gone. "Don't," I tell Finn again that night. "I didn't say anything." "You were thinking it." He's quiet for a moment. He's not wrong that the approach has risks. He's an apex zombie whose entire purpose is to convert me. Yes, but he's also not wrong. The 4th time Cassius appears, 3 days before the breach, he doesn't perform the usual ritual. He comes to the ventilation grate at ground level and crouches in front of it and says, quietly, to whoever's on watch, "Tell Maya, the assault comes in 72 hours. Tell her I'm giving this to you because I want her intact when she makes her choice. And tell her the choice isn't what she thinks it is." He leaves before anyone can respond. The assault comes in 72 hours exactly. I notice the bodies shifting in the 4th week after the flood. Not moving, just wrong. Stage 4, days away. The alpha zombies retain fragments of human neural architecture. They use tools, set traps, and coordinate in packs. The apex zombie train can speak. Several champions couldn't continue after the first alpha zombie contact, Sarah says. I already know the stage 4 absorption cost is emotional processing, grief behind glass, fear theoretical. Champion 7 said hold on to 2 specific people before degradation begins. Then I hold on to them. The first alpha zombie that speaks my name is in a flooded office building stairwell. A man in his 40s, eyes still holding color, moving with that terrible, too smooth intentionality. "Maya, you helped us. Help us now." I burn him quickly, because slow would be crueler. Stand in the smoke, feel grief at a distance I cannot close. Finn puts his hand on my arm, solid and real. "I've got you, whatever this does to you." I feel that. The specific warmth of his hand, still clear, still present. I hold on to it. The night before the stage 1 source absorption, I asked Finn to write it down. I need you to record what I know about before, while I can still feel it. The facts stay, the feeling goes. I want to be able to read it back and know it was real. He opens his notebook. "Start wherever you want." I tell him about my mother's hands. I can't remember her face, but the hands, the specific warmth of them, the same warmth I carry. The fire station, the firefighter's face, the specific quality of being set down somewhere and watching someone walk away. The foster homes. The moment I decided that waiting for someone to come back for me was a strategy with a track record I couldn't recommend. That's where I built the cold place. Not because I was broken, because I was 8 years old and needing things that weren't there hurt more than not needing them. Finn writes without stopping. I was never going to need anyone. That was the plan. And then your hands were full of peaches, and you sang happy birthday off-key, and the plan turned out to be harder to maintain than I had expected. He looks up. I let him look. The cold place isn't why you're here, he says. The things that filled it are why you're here. I feel that, clearly, fully. I file it in the warmest part of myself. Write that down too, I say. He does. 500 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 minutes, stage 1 folding into me, and simultaneously, a door closing in a room I'd lived in. When I walk out, Finn hands me the notebook. I read my own words in his handwriting. I recognize the facts, but the emotional memory of my mother, the longing, the wound, the grief of being set down and watching someone walk away, is gone. I know I had it. I have notes describing it. I can't access it any more than I can access a color I've never seen. The word for what I feel reading my own history is nothing. Not peace, not acceptance, nothing. The specific nothing of an 8-year-old's grief excised so cleanly there isn't even a scar, just an absence shaped like something that mattered once. Read it back to me, I say. He does. My words in his voice. I listen. I know what I lost, I say when he finishes. I can't feel it, but I know. The things that filled the cold place are still there. That's what I'm holding on to. Finn closes the notebook. He keeps it. I turn to the next problem. There are many. The coordinated assault comes at 3 a.m., and for the first 4 minutes, I think we're going to be fine. Then the south wall comes down. 500 alpha zombies, flanking from 3 directions, the real breach from below through the utility corridor. I'm at the north breach point when I hear the south wall go, a sound like the building clearing its throat, and I feel my fire sense stretch and find 3 breach points instead of 2, and the math changes instantly and completely. I split the fire. That's the first cost. Dividing attention divides precision, and precision is what keeps fire from killing the people I'm protecting. I can feel the edges of my control getting ragged, the walls I'm holding running hotter than I want because I can't afford the focus to keep them cool. Finn's voice in my ear. North corridor is clear. East exit is open. Move the families first. And under that, Sarah. We have injured at Junction 7. I need... And under that, Dimitri. Load-bearing wall in Sector 3 is showing stress fractures. I don't know how long. 3 voices, 3 problems, 500 alpha zombies, and the south wall is down. I burn. That's all there is for the next 4 hours. Burning, holding, redirecting, burning again. Targeted bursts through doorways to clear approach corridors, sustained walls at the breach points, held until my hands are shaking with the effort of keeping them calibrated, kept from flash flooding the spaces with heat that would kill survivors as efficiently as alpha zombies. The smell of burning zombies is everywhere, that chemical rot fat smell, and underneath it something else. The smell of the tunnel itself heating, concrete absorbing thermal energy, the temperature climbing in the enclosed spaces despite everything I do to direct the fire outward. At hour 2, Dimitri's voice stops. I'm holding the east breach when it happens. I feel the silence where his voice was, the way you feel a tooth gone, the space itself announcing the loss. I don't have time to think about it. I hold the east breach. I keep burning. Carver holds the west entrance alone for 40 minutes. I can see him on the camera feed Finn has routed to my earpiece, a small figure with a metal door he's wedged shut with his own body, holding it against the rhythmic impact of alpha zombies on the other side, while 200 people file past him through the east corridor. He holds it until the last person clears. Then the door gives. He does not come out. Dawn. The alpha zombies fall back. 23 people gone. Dimitri among them. Carver among them. I sit in the aftermath with hands still hot from 4 hours of burning. The community is exhausted, grieving, and looking to me. I feel responsibility with full clarity. I feel love for these people as a concept, not the way I used to feel things. We move on to the CDC facility. 72 hours to stage 5. We go in 48. I brief the community. Suicide mission. Survival estimate I won't lie about. 5 hands. I take 3. Finn is already packing. You're not a volunteer. I'm a certainty. You understand what this might do to me. I understand that whatever you are on the other side of this is still you. Come back to me. Whatever you are, come back to me. I can feel the shadow of love, distant through the glass. I hold on to the shadow. Sarah tells me about the keeper ritual, emergency anchor, costs her life force, and rapid aging. You're not doing that. 6 generations of my family have done nothing except make sure someone would be ready for this moment. You are what my family was for. You don't get a vote. I can feel the shadow of love, of gratitude, of the grief of watching someone willing to sacrifice themselves for me, something I've spent my whole life believing I don't deserve. Okay, I say. We leave at dawn.
The 5 levels. Level 1. The approach. 3 miles, 15 zombie encounters. Zombie packs that have learned to coordinate. They work in relay, one group pushing us forward while another loops ahead to cut off retreat, the way wolves work. I burn the forward group and feel the rear group adjust, and I understand that stage 4 coordination has filtered down even to the zombies. I'm running the fire hotter than I ever have. My edges are dissolving with each expenditure, becoming more fire and less person. I can observe this clearly and feel almost nothing about it. I hold on to Finn's name, Sarah's name, the Peaches. Alexi goes first. A zombie ambushed from a side street. They came from a building we'd cleared, which means they were in the walls. Alexi steps in front to buy us time, which he does, 15 seconds exactly, which is enough. There is no more Alexi. I burn the pack. Keep moving. Tay is taken by a window-level alpha zombie trap in an office building she shouldn't have had to enter, except the route around it had bloaters and we were out of time. The alpha zombie had been waiting at exactly window height, which means it had watched her walk the perimeter and calculated her eye line. The scream cuts off fast. I burn the building. Keep moving. Level 2. The perimeter. 200 zombies. An alpha zombie pack with tactical awareness operating in real time. I can see the command structure from the rooftop. One apex zombie running coordination, the others executing in patterns too organized to be instinct. I go in alone. We create a distraction, you go in. Finn hands me the earpiece. Come back to me. I use the memory of the last time I felt those words fully as a proxy for the feeling I can no longer access. Then I'm inside, and the distraction starts behind me, and I don't look back. Level 3. The descent. 15 floors. Emergency lighting is red and barely sufficient. The building is not empty. It is full in the specific way a building can be full when every floor has been inhabited by something that learned the architecture and then forgot it was ever afraid of the dark. I smell them before I see them, that chemical rot signature, denser here than anywhere I've been, layers of it, concentrated. The air has weight. Bloaters have colonized the elevator shafts. I find this out when my fire probe triggers one on floor 13. The explosion takes out the shaft wall, a wall of pressurized zombie fluid hitting the fire shield I throw up in the half second I have. The impact like being hit by a wave, my back slamming into the opposite wall. I spend 30 seconds regrowing the shield while 3 alpha zombies locate me by the sound of the impact. They come fast, from 3 different doorways, coordinated. One high, one low, one lateral, the kind of 3-point approach that assumes the target will dodge in a predictable direction. I don't dodge. I put a flat disc of fire in the corridor at shoulder height and drag it toward them while I find my feet. 2 of them burn.
The third gets through the disc and hits me shoulder first, and for 3 seconds, I'm on the floor with 200 pounds of stage 4 zombies on top of me, its hands finding my throat with the specific efficiency of something that has done this before, its face inches from mine, human eyes in a human face that has been remade into something that uses humans as components. I get my palm under its jaw and burn upward. The smell is very close at that range. Floor 8. A researcher's final note pinned to a lab door. We made them too smart. We thought intelligence would create hesitation. Instead, cognition accelerated evolution. They learned faster. They adapted to every countermeasure within days. God forgive us for what it's becoming. I stand in front of it for 4 seconds. I feel nothing. I know I should feel something. I have enough processing left to know what the appropriate response would be. But the appropriate response is behind glass, and I've been burning for too long to have the capacity for grief right now. I fill the gap and keep descending. The corridor shows me things at floor. Not hallucinations. I can identify them as not real. The failed champions from the records. A boy with hands burning out of control. Fire eating him from the inside. A woman whose fire has guttered out completely, eyes too many layers back, the self-consumed. 8 of them, different shapes of the same failure. On floor 9, it shows me Finn. The corridor Finn says, "You don't remember the first month. How much of us is left?" I run the inventory. Peaches, birthday song, the quality of his attention when he asked what it feels like, his hand on my back. Come back to me, whatever you are. I have the foreground, the moments that matter, carrying them in place of feelings. It is enough. You're not him, I say. The corridor dissolves. Level 4, the hive. 100 apex zombies. They part from me, not from fear, but from intention. Sister, join us. We were human once. And then Cassius steps out of the group. Same coat, same hands in pockets, that same warm, rueful smile, completely unchanged, as if the 48 hours since I last saw him had been nothing. I told you the choice wasn't what you thought it was, he says. He's not performing. That's the thing about Cassius. He never performs. You've absorbed 4 sources, and you're still you. That's remarkable, genuinely. Most of them lose the thread by now. He tilts his head. But you can feel it, can't you? The edges, the dissolution. Move, I say. I'm not in your way. I just want you to understand something before you go in. He takes 1 step toward me, just one, slow, deliberate, telegraphed. The Queen is going to offer you what you've always wanted. It's not a trick. The offer is real. And the reason I'm still standing here, with everything I've lost, everything I've become, something moves in his eyes, something that might, in another life, have been grief, is because I said yes. The silence in the chamber is very specific. She uses your mother's voice, he says. I don't know how she knows, she just does. I want you to be ready. Then he steps aside. I walk past him. He doesn't move to stop me. The hive parts around me, and I feel the Queen's pull getting stronger with every step, something tugging at the fire inside me with a specific frequency, like a voice calling to something I've always been. You don't have to be alone anymore. I feel the pull. I feel almost nothing about feeling it. I've already made my choice. I burn a path through the last of them. I keep walking. Level 5, the Queen. The final chamber is the size of an aircraft hangar. The Queen is the size of a building. It speaks in my mother's voice. I lost the emotional memory of my mother in stage 1 absorption. I kept the facts. Hands, warmth, fire station, walking away. I haven't heard her voice since I was 5 years old. The Queen either reads the factual record from my biology or constructs something from fragments. I don't know which. Standing here, I find I don't care. You came so far. You lost so much. Absorb me and we merge. You would never be alone again. I stand at the edge of 2,000 degrees and feel the pull, and feel almost nothing about feeling it. I know what you're doing. I'm offering you what you've always wanted. I know. Because wanting something that would destroy me is something I learned to ignore a long time ago. And because I have people to come back to. I can't feel that the way I used to, but I remember it, and I have it written down in someone else's handwriting, and remembering is enough. I push. The queen repels me. Same frequency, wrong direction. It's not working, Finn's voice. Tell me why. I keep pushing, and it keeps pushing back. Stop pushing. Open. If I open completely, I might not come back. Behind him, I can hear it. The crack of combat, the sound of his distractions still running, the fight he hasn't stopped fighting since I went in. I've got you. Whatever comes back, I've got you. I believe him. I open. 4,000 degrees for 6 seconds. Then it isn't. I stand in the cooling aftermath, the queen's membrane dissolved, and feel something trying through the glass to be real. I run the inventory. Finn, Sarah, Peaches, birthday song, the 9th notebook, all present. The foreground is intact. I'm still here. I climb. 1 flight, rest, another, check. Name, date, Finn, Sarah, Peaches. Still there. Still there. Daylight. Finn is bleeding from a cut above his eye and already moving when I clear the entrance. His jacket is torn, his hands are burned in a pattern that tells me he was fighting hand-to-hand for part of it, which means he ran out of distance and improvised, which means it was worse out here than he'll tell me. He puts his arms around me carefully at first, checking, and then, when I'm clearly solid, not carefully at all. Different, he says into my hair. Yes. Still you? Most of me. I'm still running inventory. What can you access right now? This. Right now. You're asking. Good. Hold on to this. Sarah is writing the 9th notebook on a concrete barrier. She runs her assessment. Eyes, hands, posture. Successful. All 4 sources. The queen. The infection should collapse globally. She looks at me with an expression that has nothing to do with instruction, the older look. Does it hurt? Asks Sarah. No, it's like a room with the furniture moved. I know things were different before. I can feel the shape of where things used to be, but I'm still in the room. Getting better? In small amounts. Present tense. I'm working backward from there. Something falls on my upturned palm. I'd held it out without thinking. Ordinary snow. White and light and structurally normal. I watch it sit for a full second. Then it melts. Finn has his hand out too. Huh, he says. Yeah. What do we do now? I think about 2 million survivors who need to be told the signal has stopped, about the harder problem of rebuilding, about what Sarah said. Come back to it over and over until it feels real again. First, we go back and tell the others. Then we figure out what rebuilding looks like. I take Sarah's hand and help her up. There's a lot of it. We should get started. Finn falls into step beside me. I'm walking differently, more deliberately, each step a conscious contact with the ground. I feel it before I understand it. Something faint below my feet, and to the east, a pulse, warm, singular, a child. 12,000 miles east of here, hands growing warm in the dark, not fire yet, an ember. It pulses once, slow like a second heartbeat recognizing mine. I look at Sarah, already opening the 9th notebook to a blank page. Write this down. We're going to need a 10th. What's happening? Finn asks. The queen is gone, the infection is degenerating, but the parasite is older than the military program. It goes dormant, not extinct. I feel the ember pulse, patient and waiting. And somewhere east of here, a child is starting to figure out what their hands can do. How long? Years. Maybe decades. But they'll need a keeper when the time comes. I look at Sarah. Who comes after you? I was waiting for this to be over before I started thinking about what came next. Start thinking, I say. And then, pressing through the glass, insistent, real, I feel it, not as a concept or shadow or an inventory item. I feel the warmth of the people beside me, the weight of this moment, the truth of still being here at all. Small, partial, the beginning of something. I hold on to it. I walk forward into what comes next, and it is vast, and it is mine, and somewhere 12,000 miles east, a child's hands grow warm in the dark, and the world keeps turning. The end.